you played college baseball. How much would you love to be able to buy baseball bats now and write them off as a tax deduction?
I would love it. Nothing would make me happier.
So where I'm going
makes me happy.
What if you could somehow hang out with baseball players all day, shoot the shit, and do it as a tax write-off? How much would you love that?
I think I'd quit my job now.
Well, anybody listening, hold on. We're not doing that quite yet. But
no,
so
not yet.
So the reason I ask is because obviously, right, we have a fake Babe Ruth in front of you, and you and I are both baseball fans.
Yep, Cornell College, represent, baby.
I didn't even realize you had it on. Yeah, you have your baseball shirt on.
Yeah, represent.
So, D3 nerd.
Shout out, baby.
So the reason I bring it up is, right, one of our favorite YouTubers and channels is a guy named Eric Sim, the JUCO Bandit.
Yep.
I love him. I think you do as well.
Cheese up.
There you go. One thing, we kind of talked about him in a previous video and whatnot, but let's talk about him more. What are some deductions that, whether he's taking them or not, we see in their videos that you would love to be able to take as well as a baseball fan?
Yeah, I would love to write off the gym that he built in his videos, because that's where he shoots his content. That's his studio. He shoots all of his live ABs, the brooms that he buys, the swords, all the costumes that he buys to look ridiculous, pitching machines. Those are all deductible. Now, if I just have a kid that is playing baseball because he loves it, and I'm buying the exact same equipment minus the night outfit, I can't write that off because that's a hobby or for my kids. But if I make a business around it, which the JUCO Bandit has done, he gets to write off all the stuff that's fun. So I always tell clients, if you can make a business that you actually like doing, whether it's a hobby that now becomes a business, or maybe you just like what you do, you can write it off. There's nowhere in the IRS or in the Internal Revenue Code that says I can't write off stuff that's fun that just happens to be business too.
So let's look into that, right? Because we have a lot of clients who we tell them as well, like, hey, you know, if you want, your wife wants to start a business around this, your kid wants to start around a business around this, right? There's ways to do it. So let's stick with the JUCO Bandit and Eric Sim. So a video I saw him doing recently was he was outside of a spring training game, and he was filming. He was talking to people about the pitch clock and the new rules and everything. So explain how that becomes like a business expense or a business event. Like, what are the write-offs there?
Yeah, so obviously the camera that he's using, the phone, but for instance, the food that he's eating, assuming he's buying it for his client or his friends or other cameramen, that food becomes deductible at the ballpark. The ticket to get in is also deductible. Potentially the shirts that he's wearing, if it says like JUCO Bandit or if it says Eric Sim or something, or Momentum, those are now deductible. Let's see, what else would be? Any props that he's using. So if he's got a baseball, maybe he's using the bat as a microphone. Like we have this microphone, I've seen people tape it onto like all kinds of stupid things. He could be doing that. So yeah, anything like that. Unfortunately, the baseball hat that he's wearing, if it's like an Oakland A's hat, or we should say Savannah Bananas hat.
That's what we want. We want the A's relegated.
Yeah, we want
and the Savannah Bananas brought in.
Yeah, Rob Manfred, if you're listening to this, and I'm dead serious when I say it, trade the Savannah Bananas for the Oakland A's.
Home field advantage.
I'm dead serious about that, but we digress. But yeah, so anything that you can wear normally that's not your logo, you can't deduct, unfortunately. But yeah, the tickets that he bought to get into it, any transportation costs, like if he didn't fly to Arizona, but if he did, that would be deductible.
Or the miles driving
there,
the
rental car, because he probably went to the facility first, then he went here, then he went back to drop off the equipment. So yeah, all that stuff, anything that he's using in the pursuit of profit, which is, because he went to the game to ask people questions. Now he just happens to like baseball as well. He was also there maybe for networking, right? He might have met his agent, his manager, his other business partners. So all that stuff is deductible, and it just happens to be something that he really likes or dislikes, like the pitch clock.
Yeah, he hates. I love the pitch clock.
I do too.
I've enjoyed. I actually saw it in an Iowa Cubs game here last year and fell in love with it.
Yeah, I like it too.
So at events, right? We've talked about that a lot, and then obviously here for Eric Sim, it makes sense, or anybody who starts a business around kind of like one of their hobbies or interests. Now, also at their gym, you mentioned earlier, right? There's the batting cage. There's all the bats that they use. But something I know you want to do here, we haven't done it yet, is Eric Sim was a professional player. So he probably has jerseys that he enjoys.
Yeah.
Jerseys that he can turn into decorations, right? We haven't done that yet here, but explain some things that, like memorabilia from his career that he could use, and something that we've talked about having here in the office as well.
Yeah. So if he buys so if he has a jersey from one of his partners is Trevor Bauer, if Trevor Bauer were to like gift him a jersey and sign it,
The new Baystars jersey?
a Yokohama Baystars, yeah. If he were to autograph that, Eric Sim could frame it. He could, if he pays for the shipping, anything like that, he can pay that. He can hang it up at the cage. He could put it in his office. He could, similar to this. Now, this wasn't anybody famous, but if it was, same idea. So he can start doing that or buy it as a gift for somebody. And that's all deductible because that's office supplies, it's
Decorations.
equipment, decorations, gifts.
Office furniture, depending on what
Yeah,
it is.
depending on what you look at it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the great things is, and again, obviously we're baseball fans, so we
Yeah.
love to like nerd out on this. So I guess let's change it now. Not everybody watching is a baseball fan. Not
Yeah.
everybody can be a baseball YouTuber or something
Yeah.
like that.
It's very hard.
But let's be a little bit more practical. Let's say somebody has a hobby around, not necessarily baseball. It could be another sport. But I know something really big right now. Let's say is disc golf. This is growing here in the U.S. Somebody who's playing to try and be professionally. Obviously, that's easy.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing a YouTube channel as well. But what's another way that they could use their hobby and turn it into an interest? Something I had is maybe teaching it, like a membership or a course.
Yep.
Explain something like that.
So yeah, if you are a professional disc golf player, which actually, believe it or not, one of our clients is, shout out to you, Andy. He gets sponsored and he makes a little bit of money. But we'll take him, for example, if he was disc golfing, he could give lessons on how to play disc golf, how to throw better. Here's another one. He could create like you said, a membership to where maybe he travels around the world or the U.S. and goes to different courses. He might review discs. Might put out a book around it, something like that. Anything that you can monetize now becomes a business. He just happens to really like it. So maybe if he travels around, that's how you do it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me. So I guess anyone who wants to start a business, get some huge tax write-offs in the pursuit of profit, you can definitely do it. JT, if people want more knowledge, advice, tax help, even just ideas for starting their own business, what's the best way to contact you? Something about an email list I was told recently?
Yep. There's going to be an email list in the link in the video, so it'll be in the description. You just click on that, and you're going to get all kinds of really cool tax tips. You're going to get some funny stories, and you might even get an old one, but a goodie, if Rick Ross riding like a steer or something?
Yeah, Rick Ross has zoo animals in his ranch in Georgia. I think he writes off like cows, probably wildebeest, all types of stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to be like Rick Ross and learn how to write off your pets, potentially, that would be in there. So there's all kinds of good things in there. A lot of the emails are real funny. We're not the typical accountants. We're not like the bean counters, the stereotype that you see. So there's actually going to be some really good ones in there. So make sure you click that link, join it, and have all kinds of fun in there.
All right. Well, JT Pells, tax quarterback. Thank you.
Yep.